Hi, this is Attila16 and this is a video of Wargame Airland Battle. In this case I'm presenting to you a deck for the West Germany. So I will explain to you all the rationale behind it, and then after that I'll show it in action. So let's start with it. This is a deck which is just nationality restricted, so it's only German troops, West German troops. And I'll explain to you all the features of it. So here I'm using the basic German command vehicle. What's interesting about this one specifically as opposed to many other command vehicle is that this one goes really fast. It goes at 150 km an hour on road and 110 km an hour off road. So this is a really fast command vehicle, very ideal to go capture a territory before the enemy does it. Then I use an FOB, which is pretty standard. Then I use a Jupiter, which is a very good supply carrier, and as a result of this you need less of them to capture, well, to resupply your units, I mean. And it goes pretty fast on road, and it's okay off road. It costs you 20, and you have a good quantity of it. Okay, now in terms of infantry, what's interesting here is that, as usual, I have my chopper, which I use to capture the center with, and you have here the Jag Commando, which are my offensive capacity at the beginning. So the Jag Commando is an ATGM unit. What's interesting about it is that it doesn't appear to be an ATGM unit if you look here. Also, they have 8 rounds of Milan F1, which make them very effective. I give them maximum veterancy for maximum effectiveness. So you deploy them in buildings where they can cover a wide range of area, and also you can maximize their efficiency. So this is a very good unit to go there. And the fact that they appear as regular infantry might sometimes lead people to keep their tank away, which will only allow your ATGM unit to suppress them more. So, and if you keep them supplied with ammo, they will be very effective. I saw those Jag Commando kill so many enemies, it's pretty crazy. Okay, so then I use the Jaeger, which is your regular inexpensive infantry. I use them with maximum veteran C, so that make them very effective and they will be able to survive quite a bit. I use in both case of the Jag Commando and the Jaeger the Dornier chopper. And the only reason why I use this is that I cannot have better. But these are really inexpensive chopper. They cost you only 5. They have an MG, which make them okay to suppress enemy infantry in forest or in the open. It's but against light armored vehicle, you might have to shoot at the vehicle all day long to actually manage to kill it. So this is a very inexpensive chopper, and it doesn't work much. But in some case, you can actually end up doing stuff with it. It's not strong enough to, let's say, hunt down enemy command vehicle in the rear of the enemy line, although the Jaeger are inexpensive, so you can bring them behind enemy line, but at the same time, this is not a particularly strong chopper. You can actually perhaps use it to make the enemy waste its anti-air missile, so that might be a good use for it. But other than that, it's a very weak chopper. Okay, then I use the Panzer Grenadier with the Marder 1A3. When it comes to the Marder, I say that it's up to you. There's no obligation to take the best one or the worst one. I will say that a good compromise will be the Marder 1A1, and the reason for it is that this is the first version which has some Milan on it, which can be useful. At the same time, the last version here has really strong Milan, which is why I chose them here. At the same time, since they are troop transport, you will expect to lose them in some case. It's just, it depends how you want to play it. At the same time, the first Martyr has only an autocannon, which should make it more affordable and less of a depressing loss. But in this case, I think all version of the Panzer Grenadier Infantry with the different transport are worth it, except this one. It's better to have a Martyr. And yeah, so you can go with the 1A1 or 1A3 if you want to use them as a good ATGM unit. Well, if you're more into the spirit of charging, use the first one. So if you're charging the enemy, use the one with the autocannon. And if you're more into the methodical advance, go with the last one. Or the second one. Okay, then, yeah, and the Panzer Grenadier here are really good close quarter combat units because they have the CQB aspect here. They can fire on the move, which make them very effective. They have 6 rockets here, and the main weapon is pretty good as well. Other than that, it's like a good, reliable main battle line infantry. And with the transport, it's a good combo. Then I use some reserve, which I use with the APC that has a machine gun. And the reason for that is that you can use them in Jupiter like this, but this is way too slow. And also that APC here can actually provide a valuable support to your reserve by suppressing the enemy. The reserve themselves are really inexpensive. They have some rockets which are anti-tank, which make them very good to fill the gap. At the same time, they are not particularly amazing against infantry. On the other hand, since they are infantry, they might attract enemy artillery or keep the enemy artillery busy, as well as airstrike, which will try to kill them in the wood, which they will succeed. It's a very slow unit. But it's really inexpensive, and that's the value of it. So you can spam many of them depending the situation and have very good result with them. I use them with the minimum amount of experience to have the quantity, and this is to compensate largely the fact that I have the other units with the maximum of experience. So it's a good unit to fill the gaps. And also, if you're less certain of the safety of a zone, you can send those reserves first and see what happens. So, and you won't have to pay too much in terms of losses. Okay, let's go into support. Now the Germans have some really good anti-air, and in this case I decided to go with Flak Panzer Gepard, the first version, and the reason for this is that this is mostly a unit which I want to use to suppress the enemy choppers and damage the enemy planes. At the same time, I'm not expecting them to kill anything, to be honest. So that's why I'm not really relying on them too much, but I can call many of them, so I use them with the least amount of experience. And they have a good range. The only difference with the better version, which you see here, is that the accuracy is greater on this one. So that might be significant in some case, but this one costs you more. And usually if you're really receiving a lot of enemy air units which target you, this unit is anyway not enough. So for real air defense, you use the Martyr 2 Roland, which is really effective. It has a 2.8 meter range against chopper, which is the same as the Flak Panzer Gepard, but has a 3.5 kilometer range for missiles, so that's much better. It has a great accuracy also and good HE power, so that's a good unit for anti-air purpose. You can also spread them around and keep them hidden from the enemy while you're exposing your Flak Panzer Gepard. So that's I also use them with veteran level of experience. This way they are really effective at killing enemy planes. But on the other hand, I have less of them. So that's a trade-off which I'm willing to do in this case, because I want them to be as effective as possible while I'm using my Flak Panzer Gepard as a bait for the enemy anti-air. Also, here is a greater bait actually. These are Flak Panzer M42A1, and these don't have radar. They don't have a particularly amazing range, but they are very useful to open the path, and in the sense that they cost you 15, which is not much, and they are actually okay against air units. They likely won't kill anything, but they are just really annoying for the enemy. At the same time, they can fire on the ground and be effective about it, so they can kill infantry and light vehicle. Also, losing them is not a catastrophe. You have a good amount of them. I use them with minimum amount of experience, and as a result of this is a good it's a good unit to put in front of your tank as you advance, because they will attract the enemy attention. They will be fired upon. They can fire back at the same time. Your tank will kill the enemy. So it's a good combo. It's a good expendable unit to use. So you will see that, I hope, in the game. Here I'm using a mortar. It's the one at 45. This is a really good mortar because it has more ammo than previous version. It does the same amount of damage, so the main difference here is truly the ammo, which make them autonomous for a longer amount of time. At the same time, just have an MG, which is more or less interesting, but this is good to establish a smoke screen. It has a good range when you look at it, and good HE power, so it's a good unit to suppress the enemy or prepare an offense with your other troops. Here I use also this standard artillery piece, which has a longer range. It's very practical. It's complementary to the mortar, and it gives more punishment to the enemy. But this is just a useful tool to have. I don't really see any specific value about it as opposed to other nation. So that's like your standard artillery, which you use for smokescreen as well as artillery. Maybe you will want to switch it for a Lars too, which will suppress the enemy and prevent him from reloading his stuff. But the thing is that with standard artillery you might actually kill stuff, while with the Lars you will only suppress them. So that's up to you, but in this case I decided to go with the artillery. Okay, when it comes to tank, Germany has some pretty good tank, for example the Leopard, but I'm actually not using any Leopard 2 in this case. And the reason for it is that the Leopard 2 really attract the enemy attention in terms of airstrike and choppers, so they attack sometimes they attract too much attention. And on the other hand, I'm using other tank, and I will explain to you what I like about those other tank. So starting here, I use a Leopard 1A5. I also use the Leopard 1A4, and the reason why I'm choosing these two is that they actually have the maximum, a pretty high range for the cannon, so 2.1 kilometer, and they have good armor, stabilizer, so they are good on the movement. They have a good speed, which is okay for tank. So it's like my reliable tank for the fight. Then I use the Kyler, KPZ-70 Kyler. This one is much more important than the other two, because I will say that this is like the most effective German tank, and the reason for it is that the range of the cannon is actually 2.2 kilometer, which is pretty high. It's higher than the Leopard 1A5 and 1A4. It also has a autocannon, which make it very effective against enemy infantry and against chopper at close range, I guess. It also has a good armor, which is higher than the Leopard. And on top of that, it has top resistance to enemy of 3. So that make it resistant a little bit more to enemy airstrike and air attack. So that's a good unit to have, and I will say that if you're careful with that one, you can keep it during nearly all the battle. Just by moving forward at the right moment and pulling back when it's going badly. Also, when it comes to these 3 units, I use them with hardened experience. In the case of the Kyler, I use it with veteran. So essentially my goal here is to have 4 for each tank that I have. I also use this Leopard 1A3, which is a little weaker than other Leopard, but in terms mostly of top armor and shorter range, so I guess I keep that one in case I need to bring a tank in close quarter combat. So this is the only purpose of that one. He's also less expensive. On the other hand, I gave him veteran level of experience, which make it very effective at close range, and I'm pretty sure that I'll get the max out of him if the enemy gets close. So that's it for those tank. Now let's go into Recon. I would say that you need at least 1 chopper for recon purpose in any army, so that's the one. You don't have any other choice. It's an okay recon, but it's not as good as some recon from other nation, but it does the job in this case, and you have no other choice in terms of chopper recon. Then I use the SPPZ Lodge A1, and this is the best Lodge you can have. And the reason why it's pretty good is that this one has a stabilizer and good accuracy for its autocannon, which make it effective at shooting on the move. It also has a good optic, and that make him very good. And it's a size which the size of the unit itself is medium, so that's good to conceal itself. So this is a very good mobile unit. It goes at 85 off-road and 150 on-road, good autonomy. So that's a very reliable recon. It can also shoot chopper, so if you conceal it somewhere, it can be effective. And that's pretty much it. I don't use any infantry because I'm actually relying on other stuff for infantry work, but I guess if you're really into infantry, these are pretty good elite infantry which have a sniper here, but I don't think it's really worth it because the transport here is still a Dornier and it's very vulnerable. So although the Fudge Melon might be good here, but still it's best to use a very mobile recon. And here, vehicle. I use prototype vehicle from the German army here in the Weasel 1-2 and the Weasel MK20. What's interesting about these vehicles is that, for example, this is a tow launcher and it costs you 35. The size of the unit itself is small, which makes it very good at concealing itself. It's not particularly expensive as a unit, and as a result, this is a very effective unit to bring in reinforcements against large amount of enemy tank. Also, this is the only downside to it is that the autonomy is very limited, so that means you will have to resupply it with supply truck. At the same time, it has 10 missile, which is pretty good, and since it's not expensive, usually you can bring many of them. So that's a very useful tool to have. Then you can complete that with the Weasel 1 MK20, which has an autocannon. This is also a small size unit, which make it stealthy. It's very good to ambush enemy chopper, shoot at infantry and light vehicle. It barely has any armor, but it's a good surprise unit which can use in specific condition and be effective about. With it. The other one, like I said, the Jaguar can be good, but I think in this case this is more appropriate for the use I do with this deck. In terms of helicopter, it's good to have some, no matter the context, and I use the best version of it, which cost me 60. This has a range of 2.6 kilometers, which is really good. Accuracy of 11, which is very good. AP power of 25, which is really good, but it only has missiles, so that means that this is really in the context where you'll need to destroy enemy tank. It doesn't have any autocannon or anything, so that's the only purpose of this chopper. It's kind of limited if you ask me, but I guess you'll have to live with it. And I use it with the maximum, well, the best one. I use standard but ardent experience, which is good enough to have 4, so I can bring some if I lose some. At the same time, this is a very specific unit which you'll use in very specific context, so it's not it's only for special purpose, literally. I hope I did make that clear. Okay, now let's go into plane. Now I have a starfighter here. Germany has only 3 types of planes: Alpha Jet, Starfighter, and Tornado. Now the Alpha Jet is cluster bomb, and lately it's been cluster bomb are not as good as they used to be. As a result of this, I will qualify it as good for spamming, but not particularly good at killing anymore. On the other hand, what's interesting here is the Starfighter, which is a really bad dogfighter. It's a very slow plane, but it has 4 missiles, and it has a Vulcan cannon, and as a result of this, it's actually really good at killing chopper. And this plane actually costs you 70, and an enemy attack chopper, for example, will cost him 75. So if you send this plane, destroy the enemy chopper, and lose your plane, you have an edge over him in terms of destruction point of 5. So that means that essentially it's a good fire and forget missile unit nearly, and the slow speed of it make it certain to actually kill a chopper. So this is a good unit to have, especially since you're Germany and your tank are like the best target to kill before chopper. This is a plane which you can afford to lose, because most of the enemy chopper that you'll kill will worth more than this unit. At the same time, don't waste that unit on Mi-8. These don't bring you sufficient amount of points. But this is a good unit to have in large quantities, so I will say that have the maximum amount of them if you can. But in this case, I decided to go with a little more balance in the way I approach things. So as a result, I decided to also use a Tornado. Now the Tornado is really expensive. It's 160 points, so you don't want to lose these. It has 4 fire and forget Maverick missile, which are really important, and these are ideal to destroy any big target. So this is also a very fast plane. It has a good ECM, good stabilizer. It can dogfight. It's okay to do so. But the main focus here is really the Maverick missile, which are fire and forget. So you make that plane circle behind your line as the enemy tank are coming, and it will most likely kill the enemy tank. At the same time, since it's very expensive, you need to be very sure about where you send them, and you only have 2 of them, while the Starfighter you have 3 of them per group. And as a result of this, this is a unit which you'll use only if there's no enemy anti-air around, and if there's no enemy anti-air around, this is a really powerful unit which I highly recommend. That's it for the air capacity of Germany, and now let's take a good look at this deck. And now we'll go give it a try in multiplayer, and let's do it. Alright, so I'll be on the right side with the German deck, and I'll use my fast moving command vehicle here. I will deploy my Kyler tank, which are usually really good. I will deploy 1 group of AA units here. I will deploy some flak panzer here. I will also bring in at least 4 starfighter, and finally I will bring in some Jaeger in Dornier, which I will either secure both sides here. Yeah, I think I will do that. And I think, yeah, I'm pretty much spent. Don't have anything more to bring. Okay, now in my deployment, as you can see, I'm deployed here, and my objective will be to go on the side here and secure that forest. And the reason why I'm not using the road, which will get me there faster, is because there is a general tendency to do airstrike on that road, so I take less risk by going off-road. Also, here I will land my Jaeger into that forest here. While here, I'll just head over there. While my Flak Panzer Gepard will support my Kyler. So what's interesting about the Flak Panzer Gepard is that they can fire on the move, and very few units can do it like that. You can see enemy artillery coming. Okay, so the enemy is bombarding the entry point here. But yeah, the Flak Panzer and that kind of autocannon units, they can fire in the movement, which is very nice. And here I'm calling in some Flak Panzer on the tip here in order to secure the area. I will also land my troop transport here. So that's why it's useful to have inexpensive anti-air unit, which you can call in, and even if there's enemies around, it's okay to risk them. Now the enemy doesn't seem particularly aggressive in this case. Ah, there we go, they're coming. So I'll deploy my Jaeger into the forest here. So you can see a T-80A. That's a dangerous target. We'll actually bring in one chopper to destroy these. While here you have some enemy Tunguska. These are dangerous as well. But there's no enemy chopper. Oh, that's a bad move here. Forgot about the reinforcements point. Seems that my adversary know what they're doing. So here I will move my troops into the forest. I will indicate the command vehicle to my allies. This will allow us to potentially destroy it early on. And I will bring in a chopper to destroy those T-80. The thing is that the Kyler might be able to destroy T-80, but the enemy likely use missiles, so that's dangerous for my my tank. All right, so let's see. It seems that nobody is taking care of the command vehicle, so I might have to bring in my artillery unit. There's a few friendly artillery here. Here I'm taking advantage of the forest to conceal my army, so I'm deploying them in the forest. My adversary don't seem to have much air units. I will renew the marker of position for the enemy command vehicle. While here I will bombard it with my artillery. Alright, so the enemy is now advancing. You can see that my Flak Panzer are suppressing the T-80A, which is not particularly LT for my Flak Panzer. On the other hand, it does stun the enemy, which is a good thing for me. So the A can actually stun the enemy, which is very useful. Okay, let's bombard some more. Actually, we did manage to destroy the command vehicle, or stun it, at least. No, it was just stun. My friendly did manage to lose a few planes because they did not pay attention. That's why you should always call your plane from behind of the map. This way, if zone change hand, there won't be much problem about it. Okay, I'm moving forward here because there doesn't seem to be any more T-80A over there. At the same time, there's still a few launcher here, so I won't necessarily expose all my troops here. I have my tow chopper here, which might be destroyed by a Tunguska over there, so we don't know. Oh, my Kyler destroyed the enemy T-80, which is very nice. While here I'll keep bombarding this. And now I will move forward with my troops. And I will also take that opportunity to bring my Leopard 1A3, which are an appropriate choice for the context. I will also move my anti-air closer. Now you see that the Kyler just did manage to destroy the enemy T-80 fairly easily. Now we'll resume my bombardment once again. There seem to be 2 CP. So bombarding the 2 CP over there. Now my Leopard 1A3 are heading toward the enemy. These are my least expensive tank unit, which make them appropriate to move forward. I will also bring in my reserve, which I'll send into those buildings. Okay, there we go. At the same time, I'll bring in my choppers here. And I will move forward with my Leopard 1A3. I'll move my other flak units here. And now that the enemy is planning to bombard my Leopard, or flak units actually, he just destroyed my least expensive flak unit, which is a good deal, because that means the bait worked. Okay, now I'll just pull back my Leopard A3. There's no point wasting them. As you can see, there's quite a few enemies down there. While here I will bring in some Roland that I'll deploy at in the forest. This will provide me an appropriate anti-air defense. Now, at the same time, I don't believe it is useful to actually attack. Oh, now you see an enemy chopper attack. Now you'll discover the worth of the starfighter. I called in one. Sadly, only one. Yeah, I was kind of expecting that. Although I can call in some artillery on them, so I'll do so. Okay, so we'll just finish to clear that place. We seem to have lost the command vehicle. My guess is that it's possible that the enemy has some recon units over there. While here there's a few Mi-8 which are coming toward us, so I will take action about that. It's just likely that the enemy are actually trying to capture the compound over there. I will renew my command vehicle here, and I will send some Dornier here in order to just make a show, preventing the enemy from doing anything about it. While here my starfighter are shooting down Mi-8, and as you can see, after actually destroying them, I'm just pulling back. There's no point risking my starfighter further. And yeah, they were a little damaged, but they survived. It's clear that the Mi-8 here is having an eye on us. Well, here my Dornier actually better than Mi-8 in terms of air-to-air fight, so I will engage them with my Dornier. Well, at least I believe. Actually, these Mi-8 TV do have some air-to-air capacity, but it's just that my Dornier are more in number, and as a result, I win the fight. At the same time, on this side, there seem to be some anti-air units around here. Yeah, I will have to clear that out. So I'll bring in some Jaeger. Actually, here I will bring my Jaeger. And I will secure this area. While here I have some reserve units. And here I will bombard the enemy at Kula, which are over there. So I will land all my Jaeger around here. And I will try to secure this area. Because my team did not either attempt or did not secure the area there. While here, seeing those T-80 around, I will move in some Jag Commando. So let's select those Jaeger, which I'll use to secure the hills. Like this. Now the enemy are actually moving to engage my troops over there. I will send some supply stuff here. At the same time, I don't really see much anti-air. Yeah, there's that one here. Might be a good target. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll deploy my Dornier around so that if the enemies shows up, I will be able to intimidate them because they're not really a big threat. While on the side here, I will actually deploy a lot of ATGM, which will hopefully be able to suppress the enemy tank over there. I have my Kyler here that I will resupply with my supply trucks, my Jupiter, and I'll deploy them on the side, and that way the enemy will likely lose a few tanks as they climb up. I can see the range of the Jag Commando. It's very wide, and now they're firing on the T-80 already. At the same time, I should be careful to keep them well supplied with ammo. So I will send a few Jupiter around. And on that side here, I will actually move my Kyler forward. There we go. Now it's likely that the enemy is actually trying to snipe my command vehicle. So I will move him. We'll move him where the enemy cannot do much about it. So it's a run forward, literally. Like this. Now the enemy will do an airstrike on my position. Oh, there we go. Their move did not really work. And I will use my Starfighter to destroy those Mi-24. That one is also a good target. So destroying one, destroying 2, 3, and another one. And I will call in more Starfighter. So I'm essentially wiping out their air force. Well, their chopper air force, I should specify. Like this, there we go, they no longer have any chopper around. Now I will likely lose my plane, yeah. But what matters here is that the enemy choppers have been disposed of, and the enemy will have less chopper to throw at me, which is excellent. Now it's clear that here my YAG commando are keeping control of this area. It's unlikely that anybody will manage to take it. I guess I will send a few Jaeger ahead in order to have a good view of what's going on down there. I will also move my chopper in, so I will have a visual over here. On this side, there's nothing to do really. I guess here, if I wanted to be safe, which I should probably do, I will make those flak panzer patrol. So what you do is you hold shift and you right click, and that will give them waypoints, and they will end up just following the waypoints. And by making those flak panzer patrol, you ensure that the enemy artillery won't destroy them. So that's very useful. So let's order them around like this. I will also order my artillery to destroy those Akula, which are our priority target. And I guess with my Kyler I will finish off this ASU. At the same time I will check what's over there. On this side not much to do, so I'll move my Jaeger forward. This will also provide me an angle on that position there. On this side my team doesn't seem to do much in terms of advancing, so perhaps I could simply shift my focus. Okay, now you can see that the anti-air are effectively destroying enemy planes. The enemy are bombarding my reserve with a large amount of missile, or rockets I should say. Okay, there is some real infantry over here, which I'm intercepting. So I suppose that what I could do here, it's a bit of a risk, is bring my choppers, and I will hopefully destroy them. At the same time, on this side I will advance my Jaeger, which are not really recons, but I'll use them as such. Okay, there's much more troops than expected there. So here I'll destroy those Eagle over there. And I will establish a long line of Dornier, and what that will do here is actually creating literally a wall, and that will hopefully destroy whatever infantry are around. And you can see that thanks to the number I'm able to suppress whatever infantry shows up. And I think the enemy is actually planning an attack on that side. So what I'll do is I will... Well, first of all, I should probably pull back my troops from here, because my attention now is away from the area of operation. At the same time, on that side, I will bring in some Leopard A1, some Recon. Since it seemed to be a lot of infantry, I'll bring in my Weasel, which are particularly effective. I will also bring in one chopper on the hill here to have a good angle. Since this is apparently an infantry attack or something, yeah it is, I will intercept them as fast as possible. There we go, moving. That will be bloody. Okay, these seem to actually be empty transport. So I will just let my units advance. There we go. I'm kind of exposing uselessly my Recons. But that took care of that. So I will advance my unit into the forest. At the same time, I don't really have much information about what's over there, so we'll see. I'll bring in my Recon. That might give us an angle or a clue. Well, on this side, I will actually waste another plane against an MI8, MI9, sorry. And the thing is that an MI9 is really expensive, so it's worth destroying. There you go. It's worth losing a fighter because look, it's I killed a unit which was worth 70, but gave them information, while my starfighter is worth 70. So it's a tie. Oh, these on the other hand, they are not worth destroying with planes. So I'll bring in some flak panzer. Well, on that side, I suppose that I will bring some logistic here because Weasel spend fuel very quickly. That's something to be aware of. Same time on this side, there might be infantry, so I will bring in some Martyr with Panzer Grenadier. I will also bring in some reserve infantry, which I'll use. Oh, there's some enemy choppers here, which might be a bit of an issue. So that means I do need some anti-air in my flak Gepard. I will also bring in some Martyr Roland 2 in the back here in order to actually be able to destroy any plane that will come and bug me. There's another MI9 which I will destroy because it's worth destroying, because these actually give information to the enemy. So you want to destroy them as much as possible. There you go. Because the best enemy is a blind enemy. He won't see a thing. The enemy seem to have destroyed my flak Panzer, which is an unfortunate situation. At the same time, my Roland seem to be low in ammo, so I will deploy a supply vehicle. I'm building up my force on this side. There seem to be some enemies on that side. Fortunately, my ally woke up about it. Now you see an MI8 which is coming toward me. And this can be an issue. At the same time, here I'm suspecting that by building up my force like that, I'm actually potentially attracting quite an airstrike on my head. So we'll see about that. I'll move my flak Gepard on this side. Well, this enemy over there is bringing another MI9, but this time he's keeping it pretty far, which is good enough for me. On that side, I'm not too sure what's happening anymore, so I won't bother to care about it anymore. Because the thing is that when you're not aware of what's going on, it's really dangerous for your troops. Okay, so there's some ATGM units there. I will deploy my units to destroy them, and I will cross this area. Some MI are also engaging me, but they will suffer because I have a lot of flak Panzer Gepard, and nearly all my units have auto cannons. So I'm going across with some reserve. At the same time, what I need to consider here is that the enemy does have potentially planes. I did lose quite a few units there. Okay, so I'm unloading my infantry in there, and that gives me an idea of what's over there. Now I can go across, I believe, although there's a few ATGM units over there, which might be a big problem for me. At the same time, I guess I cannot do much about it, other than perhaps sending my Jaeger on that side. Now you can see the SU which are incoming. I will move my Leopard. Oh, I seem to be destroying those SU-2. SU-22 actually. I did not lose much so far to the enemy airstrike, which is very fortunate. At the same time, on this side, I think I will prioritize the destruction of this ATGM units. And here I'm unloading my Panzer Grenadier. I will actually destroy this. Okay, let's destroy those Spetsnaz. Yeah, Sturm are really dangerous. Need to be aware of them. I will move my Marder Roland to forward. Unfortunately, the enemy is actually engaging me up close with Sturm, which is a big mistake. So I destroyed them. There's also a flak which is over there. My allies seem to be taking care of the enemy infantry that went there. So let's see what kind of unit I did not use yet. Still have my Leopard A4 in reserve. Some more Recons. I guess I can bring in some mortar. That might be a possibility. And choppers are not necessarily adapted to the situation right now. So I'll move in my Panzer Grenadier. Now what's a little annoying here is that Spetsnaz are really dangerous. So I'm not sure what I should do about all this. While here you can see that my Dornier are actually intercepting the enemy infantry in there. Now, of course my Dornier are dying, but they cost me 5, while if they manage to kill something, the enemy usually worth more. Okay, let's see. So my troops are suppressing the enemy infantry here. I probably will need more Dornier though. Because Dornier will be an effective tool to clear out the Spetsnaz over there. So I should probably bring in some Jag Commando in order to have Dornier in order to kill those Spetsnaz. While here you can see that my Dornier actually managed to kill a 25-point enemy unit, which is valuable. My Panzer Grenadier are advancing. At the same time, if we look at what's going on here, you can see a large amount of choppers. So let's get rid of that. Calling in some Starfighter. At the same time, with the amount of chopper there are in here, I will establish a defense quickly on this side, which will be hopefully painful for the enemy. So I will also bring in some Marder. And ultimately, I should probably bring in a command vehicle as well that I will send over here. So let's get rid of all those enemy chopper. I also will use my Tornado because there's no anti-air units around. So that means that Tornado might be an effective tool to get rid of those enemy chopper. There we go. Once they are out of missile, I guess I will simply pull them back. Okay, now you can see that very few of the enemy survived. Actually, none of them. I will pull back my tornado, and I will turn my attention back over here. I will actually bring in some tank, and I will try to retake that position, which does not seem particularly in danger at the moment. So, okay, let's move our anti-air further forward. Now, this seemed to have cost the enemy quite a bit. At the same time, that did slow down my attack on this position here, which I'm now neglecting because there was a greater target to destroy. I will unload my Jag Commando. And now I'm actually... now they seem to be attacking here, which means that a good thing to bring will be that. But you know those weasel? I will call them in as reinforcements. I will bring in more weasel here. I will also... I suppose, what do I need? I don't really need much. My Roland are killing the enemy anti-air. I'll deploy those weasel on the edge of the forest. I will pull back my Roland, which are kinda right on the front. Okay, well on this side I will redeploy my stuff in the forest, but it's too late. So let's see how well I performed. I killed 3,349 and I lost 2,140. So that was a pretty good demonstration of how you can use this deck. And let's see. Kyler did well at the beginning. I ended up neglecting them, but it's okay. My Starfighter did their purpose of destroying the enemy choppers. Martyr Roland did kill the planes as expected. Leopard A1A5 did kill a few enemies. Roland killed more planes there, more choppers as well. So yeah, that was a good demonstration of the West German deck. I hope you enjoyed that one, and tell me which one you would like to see next.